Alright guys, let's go ahead and get started. I'm gonna be doing part 2 of the Annie Room today on TryHackMe. Just for kind of a little recap. Um, the description is remote access comes in different flavors. We kind of started doing some recon with Nmap. We'll just go ahead and run that scan again and look at a few things and try to get a foothold on this box. So the first thing I'll do is I'll go over to my terminal and connect to the TryHackMe VPN. Okay, that should be good. And call this VPN. Put a new tab. This in there. We need to start the machine and get the IP address. Another few seconds. Okay. Copy that. Back to scan all ports. We'll do type SVC for version scan and running the default scripts. Dash capital T4 for relatively fast scan. We'll do triple verbosity. Then I want to do UDP scan. Let's see. Yeah, S capital U. So we'll do well, yeah. We'll do dash O capital N N. Actually, before we do this, CD info Documents. TryHackMe. Let's see. TryHackMe. Map dash me dash C or W and address dash O capital N for normal output. Let's get Annie that one. Oh, we do want to add in some verbosity as well. Do triple verbosity. We have to run this as sudo. So recon, research, exploit. Do your usual recon, go for some vulnerability research, and exploit this box already. Also, don't forget the privesc, of course. Smiley face. Good luck and have fun. Okay, so we're trying to figure out what the first flag is. User.text. See how long this takes. Take Oh, duh. I also want to add in here dash dash open. TV Specs, thank you for the follow. TV specs, you say there's a black screen? Hmm. Okay, it looks like our nmap scan is done. So it looks like we have port 7070 open, and because of the SSL certificate, we can see that this is an AnyDesk client. We don't get any version information for the service, but maybe that will be okay. Let's try to see if we can do a UDP scan as well. But we can start doing some research on this AnyDesk service. In case you're unaware, AnyDesk is a remote desktop um, client. Um, and it says on the description here, for remote access comes in different flavors. So I think that's probably going to be our way to gain a foothold. We'll let the UDP scan run and see if that ever finishes. Um, we'll use search exploit which is the command line version of exploit DB. So this is the exploit DB website that's loading. Maybe. Okay. So we can search for a particular service, like AnyDesk. And what we're looking for is a remote code execution vulnerability, most likely, which is the most severe and the easiest to exploit. And we can gain command execution that way. So let's take a look at this. It looks like it's a Python script. Looks like we need to plug in our IP. Then we need to use MSF Venom to generate some shell code. Okay. Then going back to searchploit, this is exactly the same thing, except it's in the terminal on the command line interface. So here we got it right here as well. AnyDesk 552 remote code execution. So now if we do searchploit tech p, and we take this, we can get the full path for this exploit. And it's been copied to the clipboard. So all you have to do is do copy this, and we'll call this AnyDesk underscore exploit dot py. Let's check on the UDP scan real quick. It's still going. Okay. So now what we have to do is edit the Python script a little bit. We'll do nano desk underscore exploit.py. And we need to copy this and change the values a little bit to generate some shell code. We also need to put in the IP address of our target. So I'll copy that. Okay. And then copy this MSF Venom one-liner. Copy that. We'll open up a new tab. And just paste that there. And then, really the only thing we need to change is our L host. And so we need to find out well actually we can just copy our tunnel 0 adapter IP address from here, paste that in, and then we generate the shell code. That'll take a second or two. So looking at the nmap scan, we've got port 22 open, 7070. 33,527, but that's TCP wrapped. 42,111 is also TCP wrapped. But like I said earlier, on 7070 we have this AnyDesk client running. So we will attempt to exploit that. Okay, so we have our shellcode now. So we just copy this and paste this into the shellcode here. We're going to replace this. Control K to cut all of that. Okay. And this should be good. So I'm gonna just do Control X, Y to save. Then the next thing we need to do is set up our netcat listener. And we chose 4444 or quad 4 for the listening port. So what this will do is this will listen on port 4444 on our machine. And then once the exploit has run successfully on the victim, we will get a connection back and we'll get command execution on the target as the user that the service is running as. So let's set that up. That's listening. And then all we need to do is run the exploit. So I'll do python anydesk underscore exploit.py. And hopefully we will get a reverse shell. Fingers crossed. Maybe. Oh, there we go. And if we run Who Am I, we'll see that we're Annie. We do want to try to stabilize this shell though. And the way we can do that, we can do python 3 tech-c import pty semicolon pty dot spawn open parentheses open double quote slash bin slash bash open or close double quote close parentheses close single quote. Okay, and then we'll background this. So we see suspended netcat tech lbnp quad 4. And then we'll do stty raw dash echo semicolon space fg. And then we'll do export term equals xterm, and this should stabilize our shell. So now if we do Control C, we will not be exited out of our reverse shell. Okay. So if we do ls, we can see the user.text flag. Okay. So we've got that. Next thing we need to do is figure out how to escalate our privileges to root. So we can do first, we can do ID. Oh, and it seems like we do have sudo permissions. We do not know the password of the user though, so if we want to check what we can run as sudo, we won't be able to do that because we don't have any idea what Annie's password is. Um, so we'll see if maybe there are any SWID permissions set, which basically means, so if we do perm dash, no, find slash slash dash perm dash 4000 2 is greater than slash dev slash null, then we can look for SWID permissions on any files, starting from the root directory, and then we can pipe out any errors to dev null so they don't appear on the screen. So I'll do that and see if there are any binaries with SWID permissions set. I'm not sure. Maybe I didn't explain what SWID permissions are. Probably didn't. So SWID permissions are when a file has a certain owner, and if you run the binary and you're able to exploit that, then you can temporarily gain the permissions over that binary of the owner. So if the owner is root, then we can become root if that binary is exploitable. And it looks like we're finding a few things. Mm-hmm. What we can do in the meantime, I'll add a little bit more time to the box so it does not terminate on us. We will go to a website called GTFO bins, which will show us if there is a binary listed that can be exploited to escalate our privileges. And it looks like that ran through all of that. Set cap. If it doesn't look like set cap is in here. Let's see. guessing the privilege escalation vector is probably not going to be SWID because you can see that we are part of the pseudo group. So probably need to take advantage of that somehow. Another thing we can do is we can use a tool called linpeas to check for privilege escalation vectors, including this one that we just looked up. So let's go ahead and do that. I think I have it. Yes. Okay, so then we'll set up a quick Python web server to serve our file. Okay. Then we just go here and hopefully wget is installed. Linpeas.sh. I'll just dump this in temp. Also do, oh shit, what happened there? Okay, that's right. I believe is this. Let's see. I don't think it got saved. Oh, it got pushed here for some reason. It is not executable, so I'll make it executable by doing change mode plus X for execute in the file. Then we should be able to run it. Just output it to output.txt. Looks like it's running. It's just taking a bit of time. Maybe I shouldn't have output it to a file. Oh no. Looks like it might have broken something. I ran it a little bit. Just run it regularly. Should be faster. Mm. How are you doing, TV Specs? This is really taking a long time. We're not even gonna let the UDP scan continue anymore. Wonder if that is slowing down our connection, because it looks like when I stopped that, this seems to be going faster. I don't need to have this running anymore. Hmm. Mm. There we go. Mm. Hopefully this will finish up soon. Oh, what's this? Oh, there's an open SSH private key. That might be worth looking at. Up, and we're looking at files with SWID permissions. Looks like we still have a decent amount of time before the box expires. Normally this doesn't take quite this long. Not sure what the deal is. We can look at some stuff while this runs. Let's see. So we do have a private SSH key for Annie. That's not really going to help us to escalate our privileges, though. We do have some possible vulnerabilities from the Linux exploit suggester. Mm. Looks like this could be vulnerable to PwnKit. V 2021-3156. PW feedback. If this is vulnerable to PwnKit, that would be very easy to escalate our privileges, because all we have to do is get the binary on here, run the binary, and we're root. Let's look at some other things below. Hmm. Looks like we have a cron job for Annie. This runs .anydesk.sh. That could be worth looking at. We're just looking for any low-hanging fruit. Trying to see what we can use to escalate our privileges. Have this configuration file. Private SSH key. Possible private SSH keys were found. Let's see anydesk-service.conf. Any.anydesk/service.conf. You might want to look at this. Let's see. We might want to do some research on this unknown SWID binary setcap. It's interesting. This is still running. Hmm. Interesting group writable files. Hmm. Temp AnyDesk. Well, let's go ahead and stop this and we'll look at some of our findings. And then we'll continue on with that. Might also help to see if we can get SSH access. Looks like we have a private SSH key here. So what we can do is we can just cap that. We'll just copy this. Copy. Put in a new tab. And we'll nano ID underscore RSA. Fix that in there. Go back XY to save. And then we'll set permissions 600 on the file. And all I need to do is SSH. We just do SSH -I ID underscore RSA. And then Annie at IP address. And we should have SSH access. Hopefully. And there is a passphrase. Okay. We can try to crack the passphrase and try to get SSH access that way. We can just leave that running while we look at a few other things. So if we do SSH to John, look at SSH file directory. Then all we need to do is supply the private key file and try to crack it. So we'll do SSH to John, ID underscore RSA. Okay, and then we just take this hash, copy, we'll just do nano text, paste that in there, XY, John, hash text, I think, sure if that's right or not. We'll just supply a word list. We'll just do rocky.txt. see if we can crack that. Well, that's going back over here. Back one directory. I'm going to actually it's cat dot me-dash sh to see what that is. Bin bash display equals :10 slash user bin any disk. Okay. And that. Okay, the owner of that is Annie. Not too interesting. cd into dot any-dash user.com. No. And system dot system on. Oh, there's the current version of any disk. Huh. Oh, looks like we were able to crack the RSA key. Hopefully, looks like it's working. Sweet. Okay. So we have SSH access now, so we don't really need our reverse shell anymore. This is a lot more stable. Let's see. Let's see if maybe the password is the same as the passphrase for the SSH key. Does not look like it is, though. No. Okay, so we still don't know the password for this user. So I can't just run sudo. What is this dip group? That's interesting. users do we have? There's just Annie. Community, cat, Etsy, pastel.ed. We just have Annie and Root on the box, it looks like. Let's try to run minpiece again. Hopefully it's a little faster over SSH. Go ahead and kill my reverse shell. It still seems pretty slow. Probably shouldn't have closed my reverse shell because I already had some output from linpeas on there. Let's look at the switch binaries again. Let's take a look at this setcap binary. It's not on GTF open, so. Setcap redux. Particule, is it just when I'm away from it or all the time? I can definitely turn it up. Oh, when I'm close is okay? Let me turn it up. See if that's better. Is this better? I turned it up to about 300. Sweet. Whoops, did not need to do that. Okay, let's see. I think you should be able to hear me even when I'm not so close to it. This is the Annie box on TryHackMe. The description is remote access comes in different flavors. So, what we've done so far is we found out that there was a remote code execution vulnerability in the AnyDisk service. Sorry. And we were able to exploit that and get a foothold on the box. And now we're trying to figure out exactly what the privilege escalation vector is in order to escalate our privileges to root. And if I can't figure this out this time, then I'll probably see one thing, but I don't think it's the way. Entertain me. What do you think it is? I'm open to suggestions at this point. PK exec? We can check that. Let's see if there's anything for that binary on GTFO bins. I think so. I think we might have to have sudo in order to escalate to root that way, though. Let's see, PK exec. Yes. And the problem is, we we're part of the sudo group, but we don't know the credentials for the current user we're logged into. But you need to check the sudo swid and cron tab before. I did see that there was a cron tab. We can look at that a little bit. I did check sudo, so we're part of the sudo group, but we don't know the password for the user, so we can't become sudo in order to escalate our privileges. We can still look at swid, and we can look at cron tab. I had some linps output already, but since I got SSH access, I was like, oh, you know what? I don't need my reverse shell anymore, which had that output on it. And so I'll have to let linps run again in order to see that. I mean, I know there's a way to check cron tab. I forget how to do that though. List cron tab manually. How to list cron jobs on Linux. Is it just cron tab? Let's see, cron.d? No. Let's see. Cron tab tac L? L. No cron tab for Annie. But we just saw one. Hmm. Cat Etsy cron tab. There we go. That should do it. Cat Etsy. Hmm. There were a lot more cron tabs than that. My way is cron tab tac E. Okay, I'll try that. Cron tab E. No cron tab for Annie. Oh, that's to edit cron though. I don't want to create a cron job. Let's see. Oh, tech D, sorry. No worries. Let's try that. Tech D. Invalid option. Usage error unrecognized option. Let's look at the help page real quick. Edit users cron tab. List users cron tab. Delete users cron tab. Prompt before deleting users cron tab. And this only lists the cron tab for the current user. It says there's no cron tab. I believe if you do cat Etsy cron tab, it should show all the cron tabs. Or cron jobs. This is also very standard. Let's see if it can run linps again. I just wish it would go faster. Oh yeah, we did try sudo tech L, but since we don't know the password for the current user, then we're not able to become sudo. Yeah, this will list system-wide cron jobs. It's been a long time you do hacking. Yeah, fairly regularly. Haven't messed with cron in a while. Nice. Do you do try hack me or hack the box? Mm-hmm. Oh, you do both of them, but you prefer hack the box? Yeah, it is a little bit more challenging. Or do you just like the format better? The boxes I have heard are a little bit more realistic on Hack the Box than Try Hack Me. Is that why you like it more? You hate brute forcing. Yeah, that's understandable. We could try brute forcing Annie's password via SSH using Hydra. Because all we need at this point is her password to escalate our privileges, since we already have a foothold on the machine. So we could try to brute force her password. There's probably an easier way, though, that I'm not figuring out yet. How to do RCE from website? Oh, so we didn't RCE from a website. There was a vulnerable AnyDesk service. So if we look at the Nmap scan results, we can see that running on port 7070 because of the SSL certificate, that there's an AnyDesk client running. And so we were thinking that that's probably the way to gain a foothold because of the description. It says remote access comes in different flavors because AnyDesk is a remote access client. And then we used Searchsploit to see if there were any publicly available exploits for AnyDesk. There was a remote code execution um, vulnerability and exploit for AnyDesk for a certain version. We weren't able to enumerate the version of AnyDesk, but we just kind of took a guess that AnyDesk was vulnerable to this RCE exploit, and See if I can show you. So we ran search exploit and AnyDesk, and we could see there was a remote code execution exploit for version 552 for AnyDesk. This happens to be a Python script, and if we cat it out, we just needed to change a few things and generate some shellcode. So we just put our target here. There's a UDP port, 50,001, that AnyDesk is running on. We didn't really see that on our Nmap results, but I did a little bit of research after the last time I streamed this box, and apparently there's the AnyDesk service runs on port 50,001 on UDP as well, and that's actually the vulnerable port in service. And then we generated some shellcode with this MSF Venom one-liner. We just had to change our L host, and then we just ran this, and we set up our well, first we set up our netcat listener, and then we just ran this and caught our reverse shell that way. So you don't have any user and password. So we have a user. We're the Annie user. We have SSH access to via her account, but she is part of the sudo group, as you can see here. But we don't know her password, so we can't escalate our privileges to sudo and get the root flag. One thing I was saying earlier that we could do, Lynn Pease did say earlier that this machine might be vulnerable to PwnKit. And if we could get that binary on the machine and make it executable and run it, then we would automatically become root that way. So if all else fails, we could definitely give that a shot, and that would be a good way to escalate our privileges to root. It's clear. You think her password is in clear text somewhere? So PK exec is the way. How do you know that her password is in clear text somewhere on the machine? Oh, are you reading a write-up? Or did you see that somewhere? So see here, with the Linux exploit suggester, it says that it could be vulnerable to PwnKit right here. So let's see. No, clear for me. It's that you explain and I understand. Oh, good. I'm glad that you're understanding me and that I'm explaining things well. I never know if someone is gonna understand what I'm saying or not. Because different people have different experiences and different understandings of things and learn different ways. But PwnKit for me is PK exec. Oh yes. I believe PwnKit does exploit a vulnerability in PK exec. The difference though with um is that so when we were looking at the SWID binary, all we would do to um take advantage of that vulnerable binary that has the SWID bit set on it is we would just need the password for the user and for them to have the ability to become sudo, and then we can just run pkexec as sudo and escalate our privileges that way. With PwnKit, um, it's a binary that we can download um, from GitHub, and we'll just make that executable on the machine and then run it, and then we'll become root that way. So it's basically the same thing. The difference is that with the SWID permission set, that's just how the permission set, which makes it vulnerable. But with PwnKit, it's because of a vulnerability in the policy kit that we're able to exploit and become root that way. So if we're actually if it's vulnerable to PwnKit, we don't have to be sudo. We can just get that on the box and execute it, and will automatically be root. Because it's like a local root remote code execution privilege escalation vulnerability. I wonder if I have PwnKit. Oh, yep, I do. Oh, is this a directory? Oh, yep. That's not what I want. Then all I need to do is figure out what the user's password is. The hell did I do there? Oh, I must have put that in a new window. So this, we're coming up towards the end of the stream, so we can try to see if we can get root real quick with PwnKit. Then I'm going to look at a write-up to see what the actual Privesk vector is, so we can understand that. And I think running linpeas on this box is slowing my machine down for some reason. So I'm going to stop that. We'll see. So I'll set up a quick and simple Python web server. And we'll go back here. Copy our key. Get PwnKit on here. And to make it executable. Where is it? Oh, there's Chamon. Oh, yes. So that's how we got SSH access. Because she had her private key in her SSH folder, and then we took that. We couldn't connect via SSH because there was a passphrase. We used SSH to John to get the hash, and then we cracked the hash and figured out her passphrase, and then we got SSH access that way. Fingers crossed. If this is vulnerable to PwnKit and we run this binary, then we should be root. And exploit failed. Target is most likely patched. Okay, so we're gonna look up a write-up at this point, because I have no idea what the privilege escalation vector is. Let's see if Joseph Allen can help us out here with the Privesk vector. Box is still being slow. Oh, this did not exit. That must be why. the same exploit. Gaining initial access, user.text and SSH private key. Yep, we did that. Okay. He also used SSH to John. Get the hash, then he cracked the hash and got the passphrase, changed the permissions of the ID underscore RSA file. Got SSH access that way. Privesc, okay. So he ran the same one-liner. Find slash dash perm slash 4000 2 is greater than slash dev slash null. What did he do here? Oh, did he use... Oh, it is set cap. That is the privesc vector. Setcap command is a powerful tool in Linux that allows setting file capabilities. I was reading a little bit about that, but I wasn't really understanding because it didn't have like a quick explanation. Let's see. Copy user bin python 3 copies a python binary into the temp directory. sbin setcap cap underscore setuid plus ep slash temp slash python 3. This command is used to set the capabilities of the python 3 binary. Cap underscore setuid plus ep. This capability allows the binary to set the user ID when executed. By granting this capability to the Python 3 binary, it can elevate its privileges to root when running the Python script. Python 3 c import os os dot setuid 0 semicolon os dot system then bash. The Python 3 binary runs with elevated privileges due to the capability that it was set earlier. -c executes the Python 1 liner. Import os imports the os module. os.setuid sets user ID to 0, which is user ID of the root user. Makes sense. Okay. os.system bin bash spawns an interactive shell as the root user. Oh. Okay. Interesting. So it was set cap. I just did not understand how to take advantage of the privilege escalation exploit. Okay, so proceeding into temp. Then we'll copy user bin python 3 to the current directory. Okay. Then we'll run sbin set cap underscore set uid plus ep. We'll do temp python 3. And then we'll run python 3 c import -c I think this should be, maybe this doesn't matter, but I think that's supposed to be a single quote first. Import os semicolon os that's set uid open parentheses 0 close parentheses semicolon os dot system slash bin slash bash. And that should escalate our privileges to root. And we root. Man, that was super easy. And then we just cat root.text. And there's the root flag. Nice. Don't shoot her. I mean, I guess it doesn't matter if it terminates at this point. We already have the flags. Yay. There we go. Yeah, apparently that sbin set cap binary that had the SWID bit set on it was the privesc vector, and then we have... Well, I don't think you even need to have pseudo permissions to do this. So I don't think it even mattered that we were part of the pseudo group. How did they find setcap vulnerability? So that is a good question. So if we search for setcap privesc, maybe we can find out. So Linux capabilities on Hacktricks. This should probably tell us something. They gave an explanation for how they came to this conclusion in the write-up, though. So they checked for SWID privesc vectors. They found sbin setcap, and I found that too, by running this one-liner to find all the files that have SWID permissions set on them. And then, so it says the setcap command is a powerful tool in Linux that allows setting file capabilities. So then we copied user bin python 3 into the temp directory. No, we actually didn't even need linps. Because we can just run that one-liner to find all the binaries with SWID permissions set on them. And then we saw that sbin setcap had the SWID bit set on it, and it was owned by root. And then all we had to do is copy user bin python 3 into the temp directory. And then so let's see. So then we just call the binary and we say cap underscore set UID plus EP. And that says this command is used to set the capabilities of the Python 3 binary. Cap underscore set UID plus EP. This capability allows the binary to set the user ID, UID, when executed. By granting this capability to the Python 3 binary, it can elevate its privileges to root when running the Python script. So basically, we just use this binary to set SWID permissions, or no, set the UID when we execute the binary. And in this case, the binary that we're going to be executing is Python 3. So we get that into the temp directory. We run the setcap binary and use cap underscore set UID plus EP on Python 3 that we copied from user bin into the temp directory. And then all we have to do is run the binary, Python 3, and then set -c import os colon or semicolon os.setUID 0, which is the UID of the root user, and then semicolon os.system bin bash to get a shell as root. So yeah, it runs with elevated privileges due to the capability that was set earlier. -c executes the Python one-liner. Import OS imports the OS module. And then os.setUID sets the user ID to 0, which is the user ID of the root user, like I said. And then os.system.bash spawns an interactive shell as the root user. Pretty simple. Can you do this on the box, please? Find /-perm -u equals -type f. Yeah, I believe that will find files that have SWID permissions as well. Hopefully the box did not terminate yet. Let me add a bit more time onto it so we can play with it a little bit longer. And I'll just exit out of root. I'll do find /-perm -u equals s -type f. I believe this is just another way to find files that have the SWID permission set on them, because you're running the find command on the root directory, and then you're setting the permissions of the SWID bit, and then you're doing type file, and then you're just outputting any errors to dev null so it doesn't print it out to the screen. So yeah, it's basically just the same thing. So see, we can have sbin set cap here, and I'll just stop that there and run this find /-perm -4000 2 is greater than /dev/null, and that should give us exactly the same thing. Yes, see, we have the same result here. Sbin set cap. Okay, we found, so we have the way to find it. Yep, we figured out. So for like a recap of the box in its entirety, we used nmap to find out that running, that port 7070 was open and running the AnyDesk service on it. We kind of just ascertained that that was probably the way in, because of the description at the top. Remote access comes in different flavors. And then we found out with Searchsploit that there was a remote code execution exploit in the form of a Python script. And we just had to set the target IP and generate some shellcode with the MSF Venom one-liner. We set up our netcat listener on port 4444. We ran the Python script and got a reverse shell back. And then we kind of did a little bit of enumeration. We found out that we were the Annie user and that we had sudo permissions, which didn't really seem to be... That was kind of a rabbit hole, I think, that the creator of this box put in, because we didn't actually do anything with sudo. But once we found out that there was the setcap binary that had the SWID bit set on it, then we could leverage that for privilege escalation to root. And that's basically everything in a nutshell. So I think I'm going to end the stream here. But I thank everyone who joined. Um, and hopefully you learned something. And I think I definitely learned something. I know that. Um, and I hope everyone um, has a good week. I'm not gonna stream on Thursday like I would normally on my schedule because it's 4th of July here in the U.S. Um, and so I'm gonna be taking advantage of that and um, having fun with family and stuff. So I'll catch you probably next week on Tuesday, same time, same place. Thanks a lot. Take care.